Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. Today, we are doing a composite video of all Texas forts that I visited on my trip around the Texas Forts Trail. The first one was Fort Mason, which was established in 1851. This fort is on top of a hill overlooking the town. It's a small historical site. There's not much there, but if you're into Texas forts, this is definitely one to go and visit. It was also the last fort that General Lee was in charge of. If you're into that sort of thing, then this is probably the place to come and visit. Like I said, it's a pretty small space, but it does have all the things that you need. The next one is Presidios in Saba, established in 1757. This is the only Spanish fort that we have on this Texas fort. Now, we have another Spanish fort down on the way to Goliad, which you can check out. But this one here is mostly in ruins. They've tried to fix it a couple times. Some of the architecture is a little bit too castle-y for me. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but it's still a pretty cool place to visit. So you can see what a Spanish fort used to look like. You can walk around and see some of the ruins. Then we have Fort McKavett, established in 1852. Mostly established in order to protect the immigrants going all the way to California. It was a stop here where the people would stop and rest and feel safe from the terrible Comanche that were stalking the frontier. I say terrible sarcastically, but really they were attacking everybody because they were getting into their territory. So the U.S. established a series of forts that protected the Texas frontier from this tribe. So a lot of these forts that we're about to see have some Comanche history behind them. So that's Fort Concho in 1867. This was more of a national fort, established by the United States instead of Texas. It's in San Angelo. You can go see it. We still have a lot of events there. It's pretty well maintained. A lot to it. The next fort is Fort Chadbourne, which was established in 1853, and it's also one of the hardest forts to find because I kept following the GPS and it took me elsewhere. But while you're there, you can see the new little museum that they have, and then they also take you around in a golf cart. They drive you around to the different barracks and different places that you can go to and learn a little bit more about Fort Live. We've got a good combination of ruins and recently renovated fort areas, and you get to learn a lot about the military garrisons that used to live there and how it survived and how it was renovated again. And there's a typical carriage. A lot of people fit there, about 13 to 17 people. Plus there's always cannons everywhere. Next was Fort Phantom Hill, established in 1852, or as I like to call it, Fort Leftover Chimneys. Because all you really see is a whole bunch of chimneys from the old buildings that used to be there. Fort chimneys were important because you'd freeze to death. It can get pretty cold here in the winter. And you walk around. There's some cannons there to help establish the mood. And like I said, it's pretty windy, pretty cold. So if you're there anywhere in between the fall and the winter, make sure you take some jackets. Get to walk around, see what Texas used to look like back then. As you can see, lots of chimneys. Everywhere you went, all you would see is chimneys and hear a lot of wind. But I'm glad they saved these forts for our prosperity. My next fort was Fort Griffin, established in 1867, and in this one they actually give you a golf cart. They tell you, here's a golf cart, go look at places. And just drive around and get to feel the wind. It's on top of a hill. But most of the ruins are still pretty nicely maintained. They're safe to walk around. Nothing's going to fall on you or anything. And most of the ruins have a little plaque that you can go and read and find out about the history and why it was important and what happened there and how it helped the fort survive. Like I said, a lot of these forts were strategically placed along the Texas frontier. This was on top of Government Hill, and it overlooks the other side of the park. But they were placed there in order to protect from the Comanches, because they were attacking everybody. Next up on the list is Fort Belknap, established in 1851. This is probably the second smallest fort that was there, and it's the one that has the least to see or do, but it's still nicely maintained. It's turned itself into a nice little local park where people go and picnic and have their birthday parties and stuff. They still have some of the buildings there. You can walk around, check it out, see the stonework. There's plaques everywhere that you can read to find out more of the history of the fort. Now, most of these forts were abandoned after the Comanches were defeated, so they didn't really need them anymore. So most of the time, towns built up around them, and they were able to sort of survive. And the town, most of the time, took the name of the fort in some places. In others, new towns were established, and the fort eventually faded from existence until the state of Texas started turning them into either state parks or state historic sites, which I'm very happy that they've been able to do so, because I'm all for preserving history. Plus, it's always fun to see different places that had an important part to play in the establishment of a state. And now we're on to our final fort, which was Fort Richardson in 1867. It's one of the more northern forts along the ring of forts that we see on this Texas Forts Trail. It's nicely maintained. They don't give you a golf cart, but the buildings are pretty close by, and you can check them out, see what's going on, play around, pretend you're important, and all that kind of stuff. But I like Fort Richardson. I learned a lot here. I liked walking around and learning about new and different things about the military and history and forts. So if you're a big fan of military history or frontier history, definitely come and check out the Texas Forts Trail. These forts are really amazing, and you get to learn a lot. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.